But that's something else we were just talking about as well, is that this Team Spirit squad, other than Maposhka, these are unknown players. We don't really, and they're also young. They're like 18, 19-year-old players. And here they are, again, competing for this insane prize pool and playing in the grand finals. So it really is crazy. They open with the Bane Magnus, so a couple of notes here. So again, yeah, the first two bans initially, then the first pick of IO. So LGD, they are still very confident with the IO. So in game one, they opened with the IO as well. They went with the Ursa partner. Ended up being on a losing effort for many more reasons, but IO is still a very strong hero. And clearly LGD, I mean, that says something that even after a loss in game one, they still go back to the IO. But it goes back to there's more that happened, much more than happened in the game than simply just the IO pick. And it resulting in a loss. They're going to pair it up with the Leshrac this time, which is a little bit different than an Ursa in how Leshrac works. Now, maybe, I say maybe because it is also a bit of diverse picking going on here, flex picking, where, as I always talk about, that in the first couple of picks especially, usually kind of that flex pick theme is what you like to do. And what that means, you pick these heroes that you don't necessarily know where they're going to be. Whether you're the team picking them or you're the team going against it, it kind of keeps them guessing, right? So they can't go for the obvious, oh, it's going to be a core Leshrac. We're going to totally counter that core Leshrac. So that's something to keep in mind here, because Leshrac can certainly be played as a support, but we do see the mid Leshrac and even position 1. So to answer your question, or you're talking about IO. But yeah, core Leshrac is still very viable. Core IO is also a thing, possibly. We've mainly seen it as support this TI, and we just saw in the previous game a support as well. But there has been history, at TI especially, that a position 1 IO has been a thing. A mid IO, an off lane. So he technically is still a flex pick, but usually seen as a support. Pairs well with Leshrac, though, because Leshrac, a hero that likes to run at you. He does a lot of magic damage in an AoE around him with multiple abilities. He also does some physical damage even, too, with his W. That actually is good for pushing towers. But because he's a hero that's, like, in the fight constantly, in the fray of the action, IO's a great partner to have that's regenerating that life and mana from behind and allowing him to do so that much more effectively. I've never seen position 1 out. No, we've seen a position on Ana played it in TI Grand Finals of, was it TI9 or TIA? It's one of those, but no, it's definitely been position 1 as well. The fuck? Hello?
PSG.LGD.
That's kind of weird. I don't know why it's kicking me out. Let's try it again. But anyway, so I mean, we can kind of watch out for this, I guess, if it's gonna be weird.
PSG.LGD's turn to
Okay,
bat.
we're good, hopefully. All right, back to the game, though. So the other side, Bane Magnus. Bane, Team Spirit's been playing a lot of Bane, apparently, in this event themselves. Bane is usually a support, a hard support. What Bane does, though, is provide a lot of single-target lockdown. 3 abilities of Bane essentially provide a single-target lockdown. On paper, he could technically crowd control 3 different heroes by himself. He has 1 ability that would apply to a target. It reduces their attack damage done and overall damage done in general, so that is kind of a crowd control in itself. Another ability that sleeps somebody, which means, again, when they are hit, it wakes them up, but when they're slept, they can't control their hero. And then a third ability in the Fiend's Grip, which is where he channels this ultimate on somebody that holds the target in place for like up to 4 or 5 seconds, and it does damage to them over time while it's holding them in place. So, yeah, Bane is a very good crowd control hero. And then Magnus, by the way, Rust Agent 007, I did see you. I meant to say that earlier. What's up, dude? That's a name that's been a while since I've seen there. But yeah, Magnus has been considered one of the most powerful heroes in this tournament, though. Magnus, not only is he an excellent crowd control source and a team fight presence with that reverse polarity, or the RP, which is that huge suck-in that actually stuns everyone as well on top of the suck-in, but he has a skewer ability, which actually is great for initiating into fights. When he gets a blink, he can blink in, he skewers somebody backwards, which he like runs forward and he takes anyone with him. But he also applies this Empower buff on teammates. What Empower does, it increases the attack damage as well as it provides a cleave effect to melee heroes specifically in terms of when they're doing damage. So we see a lot of decent partners with the Magnus. No matter who the carry is, usually is going to benefit from it, whether it's like that Ursa that we saw last game or a Faceless Void is another one that actually stands out as well. But, yeah, great partner for really any carry. Oh, this is something to talk about, by the way. Leshrac has Torture, yes. We'll go over the Han equivalents in a second. So Dark Willow then picked up by Spirit after the next set of bands coming out. But look at this. Earthshaker Morphling. We saw this in the group stages as well, but to go back to this, insanely strong combo. We'll talk more about it throughout the game, but on a very simple level, what Earthshaker does, he's all about, he has this huge fissure stun that stuns in a line. He also has an ability that he stomps his totem on the ground. It increases his next attack by a ton of damage. And it'll also happen to stun units around it because of a passive that he has. But when he has an Axe, he actually gets to use that W ability, the Stomp ability, as a jumping tool that allows him to jump into a fight or jump away from a fight, whatever, almost like a Blink Dagger in a sense. Now, how Morphling works, Morphling has the ability, his ultimate, he can choose a target, an enemy usually, and he morphs into that enemy, and he gets access to their abilities outside of their ultimate. He cannot use their ultimate, but he can use all their basic abilities. Now, when he gets an Aghanim Scepter, he can actually use the morph on a teammate, and he also happens to get the Ags effect of the teammate or whatever person he morphs into, as long as it's a basic ability Ags effect. So if you're following me here, if all this makes sense, simply put, the synergy is Morphling, he morphs into Earthshaker once he has the Ags. He gets the Earthshaker W, which allows him to stomp the ground with the totem. He not only gets the increased attack damage on his next attack, but he gets that powerful jumping tool on top of that. So we see this combination picked up every once in a while, where Morphling is going to morph an Earthshaker and just go around two-shotting people because of how much damage he potentially is doing in this game. It takes a little bit to get there, but once he has the Ags and maybe like the Ethereal Blade in combo, that's where he's a massive threat in this game. Luna on the other side for Team Spirit, meanwhile, talk about a overall just kind of a good carry, because not only is she good in the early game, but happens to be able to scale very well into the late game. Is a BKB carrying hero naturally as well in Luna. And I say that because why that's good at the Black King Bar item, which makes you immune to magic damage and magic crowd control effects, is Leshrac and Earthshaker specifically, and even Morphling to an extent, they are going to be doing a bit of magic damage and crowd control. So Luna having that BKB effect activated is going to be a very powerful tool. Magnus Empower will also help Luna. Even though she's ranged, she'll still benefit from the attack damage specifically of her glaives bouncing around, and she is already dealing AoE with, again, the glaives bouncing around targets there. So, okay. If you can copy a teammate that's broken. With the Ags, Morphling can copy a teammate, yes. So, last pick on either side. LGD, we'll see if they commit to the Leshrac core. It looks like that is going to be the case. Maybe. I mean, I guess they don't have to. They go Nature's Prophet with their final pick. Nature's Prophet, used the term before, the Rat Dota expert. He's got that global teleport. He can teleport anywhere on the map on a, it's one of his basic abilities. And he's good at single target, but he also spawns these trees that help him push a lane, and he's very good at split pushing. It is going to be played in the off lane by Faith Beyond. And it will be a mid Leshrac with Ame playing the Morphling in safe lane. Spirit going a Puck with their final pick. So for any Han players, real quickly, we got a couple here. We got Bane is Succubus, Luna is Moon Queen, Puck is Bubbles. On the other side, Earthshaker's Behemoth, Leshrac is Torturer, and that's really it. There's no other equivalents there. So about 5 Han heroes that you can relate to when it comes to the picks here. But yeah, Bubbles, or Puck, picked up by Team Spirit as their mid option. What Puck does for this team is it provides a lot more team fight. So they wanted a hero that could not only provide a lot more team support, but he's also great at counter pushing with his Q. I want to say Shell Surf, but obviously that's not the name of it here. Puck has the ability to clear out creep waves pretty effectively, which is great to have against Nature's Prophet. Because as I just talked about, Nature's Prophet, especially as a core role, he's going to be teleporting to lanes, spawning these big trees, and pushing the lanes as a result. Where Puck, if he could then teleport back, and he could launch out his nukes there and clear those out ideally pretty efficiently. So I really like that final pick Puck for that reason as well. By Team Spirit, a very active core on top of that potentially, one that's gonna help set a pace earlier on in this game for Team Spirit. Also, a great follow up to maybe a Magnus RP or even a tool to allow Magnus to RP effectively. But what I mean by follow up, where Magnus, if he gets in an RP's 2 or 3 heroes, then Puck on top of that can throw the Dream Coil out, which means they get pulled in, they get stunned for a couple seconds, but then after the stun, they can maybe try to run away. But with the Dream Coil, if they try to run away, then they'll take another stun because they get snapped, right? So there is some good synergy there as well coming out with the Puck pick. I really like Spirit's lineup in the sense of the Luna Magnus synergy as well. Team fight, again, overall is really good. I do think... I guess I think their weakness is going to be they don't necessarily have the best save for one another. And when you're dealing with this Morphling who's just going to be jumping in and looking to burst people down eventually, that's going to be my concern. So it's really about, can they deal with this Morphling in the earlier game, as we got the smoke play early to get some information, and not allow Ame Morphling to get that early Ags and Ethereal Blade combo and just start nuking people down left and right. Let's do this real quick. So which team will win? My heart is saying Spirit, but let's say I'm going to go with LGD in this one. I think they're going to tie up the series here. Player who places the most Observer Wars by 15. Let's go with Maposhka. Total number of player deaths by 25. We're going to have a lot. Team with the most runes picked up by 10. I would probably say LGD as well. All right, so Han reunion. So somebody's asking about that. So yeah, real quickly, I got that sub goal down there on the bottom right. Let me put my webcam back on. We just recently hit our 150 sub goal, which is a hot tub stream. So we're gonna be doing a hot tub stream sometime this week. We got to figure that out. But our next sub goal is a Han reunion stream. And what I mean by that is I've talked with my buddies, so former employees of S2 Games, and some guys that I still hang out with all the time and play games with and are good friends with. I don't necessarily want to give too many because I don't want to commit them, but names like Waza, Ace JR, definitely some names you might recognize. That once I hit that 200 gold, then we'll set up a day to play some Han together, hang out in Discord, talk about the good days, talk about Han, and have a good fun hangout there. So that's the game plan for if we hit that 200 sub goal, as far as making something happen. And yeah, Fairlight, yeah, we couldn't even turn it into this whole reunion as far as like, hell, I could hit up an Angry Testy and some Fairlight, and we can make it a really fun event there. So that's awesome, Fairlight. Yeah, no, I actually love that idea. I wasn't even thinking about that far, honestly, when I was putting that, because I don't want to commit all these people without even talking to them. But at the very base level, it'll be some sort of get together with former Han people talking about the glory days. Okay, so the landing phase is upon us, and we see Dark Willow, another hero we really haven't got the chance to talk about too much yet. That's a misstun right there. By nothing to say. What is this called again? Why am I blanking on the name? Illusory Orb. There we go. But Dark Willow, a support hero in this case, has this Bramble Maze ability. You'll see her place it down again. We saw it earlier, where if you run into the brambles, then you actually take a short duration root effect, and you also take some damage over time. So it's a good tool for, like, if you're trying to run somebody down or even run away, as Miposhka might just be dead here. Yeah, okay, well, he's got that Brain Sap, so Brain Sap, it's a nice nuke. It does magic damage, but it also heals him up. It steals life, essentially, from the enemy. And that was just enough to keep him alive, so very close call. Nature's Prophet in the laning phase doesn't have a Blightstone. I was actually going to point that out, but usually we see these Nature's Prophets pick up the Blightstone, which is the -2 armor whenever he attacks a unit, which on a hero that already has really good base damage and an attack animation is usually a very good tool, but he chooses not to get it here. Either way, oh, they trap Luna. Luna's fissure blocked right now. No tower aggro, though, so isn't necessarily in the biggest concern. That's something else that Nature's Prophet does right there as he spawns trees around you. And we see this Quelling Blade picked up by Luna. Now, not normally... I guess you do see it on her, but either way, you'll see carry players especially holding on to a Quelling Blade much later on into the game, even like backpacking it against a Nature's Prophet than they would in most games. Because an example right there where Faith Beyond, he put the trap around Luna with the trees. Might see it again. But if you don't have a way to kill those trees, whether it's an ability or an item, then you're going to be trapped in there, right? But if you have something like a Quelling Blade, you can quickly destroy a tree and then run on out. So it either is a very powerful crowd control, or it's really not much at all. You love the amulet when he finishes it. Yeah, so he's going to go the amulet route. But again, the only reason I say that, though, is because I feel like a lot of the Nature's Prophets we've been seeing, they usually have gone that Blightstone there. You can get the entire SDS team. Well, again, we got to hit the goal first, but it's awesome to see that there's a lot more interest than maybe I had initially anticipated. That'd be fun. Hey, I played Han on stream for 3 or 4 days recently, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Kind of a side note, though, real quickly. I do plan, so this next week, I plan to have kind of a MOBA week where I might jump around different MOBA games from Han to Dota 2, but also have a day dedicated to Heroes of the Storm. Might play some League of Legends as well one of the days, so we'll be jumping around a little bit this week. It's going to be interesting. By the way, as I'm talking about nonsense there, that was a kill on a Zen Q. It looks like, oh, so Morphling went down a mirror earlier as well. Wait, what? Oh, the courier. Okay, no, I was like, wait, when did Morphling die? That was a courier dying. Earthshaker gets picked off there in the mid lane trying to assist, but he gives up a kill to Puck, which is not good. That's not going to make Leshrac happy, as his opposition now has a hero kill to work with as well. So yeah, Puck is highest net worth in the game right now. And already that 1v1 matchup up the mid lane where it's reliant on the creep kills and, you know, having that slight advantage of experience or whatever. In the case of Puck, the fact that he was able to get that kill there onto the Earthshaker roaming in, it's that much more of a lead now that Puck ideally will have in the lane, as both two also, of course, have that bottle. And then we've already talked about the importance of why the bottle is so valuable in that mid lane matchup. Luna. So I go back to another one of these cores that likes to go for a couple of items earlier on. In this case, it's going to be the Mask of Madness. It's at an increased attack speed. It's an excellent farming tool for her. Gives her a little bit of lifesteal, but also those glaives bouncing around with all the attack speed increase of the use of the Mask of Madness. It allows her to flash farm these creeps that much faster. And then a Dragon Lance into a BKB. That's kind of the core usual build that we see earlier on. Dragon Lance, one of the weaknesses of Luna is she happens to have pretty low attack range compared to a lot of other carries, like you see right here, 330 attack range. So it actually showed that circle around her is how far she can attack. Where Nature's Prophet, for example, 600 attack range. Much further. A lot of ranged heroes, it's going to be a lot better than 350. 575 on Leshrac. So Dragon Lance, it actually increases the attack range of your hero for a ranged hero. So that's why we see a lot of Lunas getting the Dragon Lance to kind of make up for that lack of attack range that she normally has earlier on or throughout the game. She's going to be gone right here. Is level 6, doesn't have Eclipse though. So is also one of these heroes that you'll see, okay, you're level 6, you get your ultimate, right? Not necessarily the case. There are plenty of heroes, and Luna's one of them, where depending on the game situation, the player won't necessarily feel like getting the ultimate at that point. Eclipse is a very good team fighting tool and great early on, but because of the lane matchup and how Luna wants to play, she's not interested in using an Eclipse until a bit later on in this game. Because when you think about it, not only are you putting a point to get the ultimate, but that takes away a point from your other abilities, where she feels like she's going to get more value. In fact, she even maxes out her Lunar Blessing here, which gives her more attack damage and some night vision to work with, as it is nighttime currently, rather than getting Eclipse, because it's just that much more value she's getting out of it right now for what she's doing, which is just hitting creeps. Now, as I say this, they're moving up here. Leshrac gonna push, and you can kind of get an idea of what LGD is looking to do early on in this game, as they just want to group and push objectives with the 4 heroes. Morphling is farming bottom by himself. That's all he cares about right now, but the 4 other heroes, they're gonna push in top. They have Nature's Prophet and Leshrac, which are 2 very good tower-killing heroes. Nature's Prophet, I've already mentioned with the Rat Dota style. Because of all the trees he creates, he's just naturally good at pushing towers. Leshrac with his W, or the Diabolic Edict, is also a very powerful tool for killing towers. He uses it, and it's all these pulses that start popping up around him. That is physical damage. Excuse me, it's pure damage. It used to be physical, but anyways, it's pure damage, which actually means it is not mitigated by armor or magic resistance at all. So pure damage, you'll see occasionally some abilities that are that source of damage. That's what that means. So no matter how much armor you have or whatever, that's not going to mitigate the damage coming out. So, but because it's pure damage, he can actually use that ability to take out towers, and could take them out pretty quickly once that's maxed out, especially. So yeah, good objective doing by LGD early on. We are 840 in, still only the 1 hero kill though. Speaking of pure damage, Brain Sap is also pure damage, I was going to say. It's another one of the few abilities. Leshrac is Torturer, yes. What does Soul Trap do? What's Soul Trap? Hold that thought, because Morphling... Interesting what's happening here. RP was already used on Magnus, so it's on cooldown for 68 seconds. I was going to say, if he has RP, they could get a kill, but not going to use it there. Oh, that was a kill up at the top lane. Okay, sorry. Got a little distracted there with chat, but Yataro going down. So yeah, Yataro's trying to... So this is another thing LGD's doing. So as I've talked about with the objective kill, is okay, another 5 down here. Bramble Maze asleep on a Morphling. Io though protecting, and now here comes some support. Earthshaker. Magnus able to skewer away for now. There's Nature's Prophet though. He's going to be teleporting in. That's what that animation is. They're trying to find Collapse. He's got a TP. Does he TP soon? Does he go for it? He's eating through the TP. 1 second. Yes, he's going to get out. So good distraction there in the end. By Magnus at least. But the objective kill of the tower kill, so what does that do? Well, you get the golden experience from killing it, but it also prevents the vision in that area. It also prevents that resource for the enemy to be able to go to defend themselves. It also prevents teleports from happening. So it allows for that map control, that term that we constantly keep going back to, here on this top portion of the map now with that tower being destroyed, and it allows them to invade the jungle that much easier, which they then do to take out the Luna. So good job by the Radiant team taking over the that jungle with that tower kill. 1 second.
Impurities. Presumably a pity. That was most welcome.
Sorry, every once in a while we need to go AFK for just a second. Anyways, what are we talking about? Puck is Bubbles, yep. So yeah, as I said, there's 5 heroes in this game, I think it was, that are Han equivalent. You got Leshrac is Torturer, Earthshaker is Behemoth, Bane is Succubus, kinda, Luna is Moon Queen, and Puck is Bubbles. So there you go. So Puck actually going the Veil of Discord route. which, oh, this is interesting. Luna's caught, but Nature's Prophet doesn't have crowd control himself. So, a very smart decision by Luna right there to just TP out immediately. As, saw that they were coming up, whether that was vision from somewhere else or something, but maybe just simply saw that they were, missing on the map as possible too. But either way, able to escape and stay alive. We see Luna pushing the bottom lane with the team, and she's got the Dragonlance now. Again, working on the BKB at this point next. 1,000 gold saved up. So the Black King bar still a bit of ways, but going for that. But yeah, until Luna has that, I think Spirit is certainly going to try to avoid these fights. Magnus, by the way, interesting here. Ends up going the full mech first, as well as some Brace to help tank up. Wants to blink next, but Magnus playing a much more of a utility support role there with getting that earlier mech. So maybe expecting perhaps a bit more fighting throughout this earlier game. And if that's going to be the case, having an item like Mechanism is certainly good for that. It's essentially an AoE heal that teammates around you in that green circle radius that you see, they'll get healed for 275 life, and it provides that 4 armor as well.
Swiftly out of balance.
Ooh, catch here. I hear relocate coming in. The Eclipse going to be popped. They'll lock down the Leshrac with the Fiend's Grip, but Yatara that wants to run is not going to be successful enough. That relocate in with Al, so again, that ability, he relocates in the Morphling, and after 12 seconds gets sent back. They're going to go back to where they came from, and that's over here, continues to farm. So beautiful gank set up by LGD. And now Leshrac, he's still here by himself. Isle's making his way back over. That Spirit or the Urn's going to be even used. As Dark Willow, Mira just got in the midst of them right there. So that's something that really is powerful for LGD as well. They just have a lot of this kind of AoE damage that's happening between Leshrac and Earthshaker. Leshrac, like I said, that's just how the hero works. Pulse Nova Ultimate, it's essentially something that he can toggle on and off that just pulses magic damage around him. The Lightning Storm is one that he has to target but does AoE damage. Split Earth is a huge AoE damage stun. And then the Diabolic Edict, again, it's pure damage that's just constantly pulsing around him. So Leshrac just wants to run at you and essentially hug you, and you're going to be taking a ton of damage. So even with this Dark Willow having this Shadow Realm ability, which that's why we saw her blacked out right there, she goes to the Shadow Realm, which she cannot be targeted. She can still take damage, though, by AoE abilities. And so Leshrac easily able to run her down and kill her despite going into the Shadow Realm, though. There. Our relocate coming up in a couple seconds. So are they gonna look to maybe use it sooner than later? But they are gonna make their way to the top lane. Roshan, we're 15 minutes in now. Roshan is up, of course, and neither one of these teams is a team that I can see necessarily stealing a quick Roshan. They both can do Roshan, but it's gonna take a little bit of time. So we'll probably see a Roshan attempt after a fight happens, and then maybe they get a couple of kills out of it. Top lane though, uh-oh, Faith Beyond, so he teleports in, but Puck was actually just about to try to clear it out, but now he's caught! So this is something else to see the tree use as kind of a barrier to block them, and down goes Puck. Is that an Orchid? Yeah, so Nature's Prophet, he has this Orchid now. So we see this kind of single target right-click build coming in from Nature's Prophet. Very good against a hero like Puck, who relies on the spells to be able to constantly spam and use to get away. Unable to do so with the Orchid Silence. And then, yes, another point being brought up. Not only are those trees a great barrier, but they give vision. So when you're in the trees like up here, then, you know, it could be hard to see somebody depending on where they are in those trees. But if you put down your own trees from Nature's Prophet, then suddenly you get that vision in that area, and it helps allow them to get the kill. So another kill for LGD, but big picture, as we take a look at net worth, I still think Spirit's in an okay spot, because I go back to this Luna, as long as she's still farming, and she is, she's now going to get the BKB delivered. This is the timing for Spirit that they're going to feel much more comfortable about actually fighting now. With that magic community, They have a blink on Earthshaker, though, on the other side. That's another really critical pickup, right? Xinkyu, he bought it. It's going to be delivered out, so we'll have to look for that in a fight to come. Where is Morphling at? So Morphling has no interest in going the Ags yet. We mentioned the combo of the Morphling Earthshaker, but that only means something if he has the Ags. Because without the Ags, he cannot morph into an ally. Now, with the Morphling, so we have to look at pre-Ags, what is he going to be looking to morph into, perhaps? And, I mean, I can certainly see several. Honestly, the Luna herself wouldn't be a bad option, given Morphling those glaives. You also got Puck. I could see Puck certainly being a great one that Morphling can use to his advantage. Because, again, that gives him access to those basic abilities. Sorry, I got baby CPK having some questions. But yeah, so we'll be looking out for that with Morphling in terms of what Morphling's going to be going for. Okay, here's that Roshan. So LGD is almost going to try to force a fight here. They're doing it. No vision for Spirit, though. So Spirit doesn't know. They smoke up, which makes them invis. When they get in range of an enemy, though, they become exposed. Magnus going to jump in. They're going to kill Earthshaker, but they're going to lose Roshan. So they kill Earthshaker. Roshan goes down, though. Token, or Aegis even, goes to Morphling. And so that death on Earthshaker ends up being pretty big, though. Because what that did, yes, Earthshaker just died pretty quickly, but it really guaranteed LGD the Roshan kill by sacrificing himself and really forcing Spirit to make that jump and get that kill. Aegis is called Token. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I assume people know what I mean by when I say Token, but technically the Dota name is Aegis. Aegis of the Immortal. So now you have the Aegis on Morphling, who's building a Manta style, as well as a Dragon. So speaking of attack range from the Dragon Lance. Also, Morphling's very similar to Luna, where he only has the 350 base attack range. So Dragon Lance a good tool on him as well. Next, I wonder, though, if we're going to see the Axe or not. I know he had the Black King bar also queued up before, but no longer there. So I wonder if he's thinking about getting that Axe next so that he can start that OP combo of the Morphling Earthshaker. I mean, you know what's coming eventually, right? Like, they don't pick this combo to not get the Ags on Morphling. That feels like that'd be such a waste of the potential, but... That's Morphling, by the way. Uh-oh. Okay, well, they're setting up a fight. Relocate in, but, yeah, Spirit was running over as if they were ready to go, but in the end, it's going to be a fallback, and relocate 2 more seconds. So Io will not be here. He's going to be back down here. So is numbers advantage right now for Team Spirit. And that's where you got to be a little careful. Although, with the global teleport, I guess they probably can join them. Leshrac and skewered in. That's that initiation we're talking about. Magnus skewers in the Leshrac on top of the Eclipse. Morphling going back in. Puck in the back lines. It's silenced up, though. He has an Aeon Disc, however. Aeon Disc, we'll talk about that in a second, but it saves him. Drinko put down Morphling. Morphling took over Luna, but Morphling's trying to survive. Popping that strength. Oh, the great skewer wants to get into the RP. The beautiful cleave combo collapses on point with this Magnus. Morphling, he's going to come back up. Can he survive the root? Io's making his way over, but Io's not going to risk it. The TP, no, he's stunned. Morphling is going to die in Team Spirit. Triple kill for Yataro, as Io manages to teleport out just in time, but the damage certainly done by Spirit. This Magnus, that's one of the main reasons as to why Magnus has been seen as one of the best heroes of TI10. The ability that this hero has to be so impactful. He's constantly implying this a power buff, which as a spectator it's hard to see happening, but I guarantee you Luna pretty much has in power most of these fights, which, again, to remind you, that increases her damage by 36% bonus damage, and it gives her cleave damage. On top of that, for 45 seconds, Luna's also benefiting from her own aura, which gives her 35 plus damage, so, and now she has a Chrysalis on top of that, so... you can just imagine with these glaives bouncing around especially, she is hitting really hard. Does it not give her cleave as range? I guess it doesn't, right? One sec.
are scanning.
I'll be right back. Give me 1 sec.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
All right. Anywho, all right, we're back now. So, what is this, by the way? Eternal Shroud. Creates a spell shield that absorbs up to 400 magic damage. I've never even seen that before. Anyways, Morphling picked off again? Oh, no. Got skewered again. He actually has the Horn Toss now, by the way, which is something else that's been considered so powerful in this hero. So, he has his Aghanim Shard, which gives him this new ability where he'll literally just toss the target in front of him backwards, and it stuns them as well as does some chunk of bonus damage. It's a 30-second cooldown, but when that's ready to go, it does work. So the fact they kill the Morphin there and Io on top of that, and he still has RP. Oof. Team Spirit really turning it on now here in game number 2. As that tower is just going to get shredded. And that's something else to keep in mind with Luna, as we've seen before in this tournament, but once they start attacking the base, and after they get a tier 3 tower kill, Luna tears up the towers in the base. She shreds them with those glaives, because the glaives start bouncing around all of these buildings, between the racks and these buildings back here even, because of how the glaive bounce works, and she will just annihilate that base. So the tier 3 towers, if and when those get destroyed, is going to be a significant factor. She also has her shard, by the way. We started building that earlier, so now her Lucent Beam, she gets to use on the ground. Also releases an attack 500 range of a random target and reduces its mana cost by 50. So it's now just even an extra like auto attack tool that is pretty beneficial to use. It doesn't work on range. Yeah, so to clarify, it doesn't work on range with a cleave, but it does give her that attack damage. Still.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But you do see Morphling now going for the axe, but this kind of takes me back a little bit. Morphling, they picked this combination, and Morphling still insisted on getting both the Dragonlance as well as Mantis Style, even the Morbid Mask early on. That's a lot of investment. That's a lot of money spent towards not building up an axe, which is pretty expensive in itself at 4,200 gold, before being able to rely on morphing into the Earthshaker and using the benefits of what he's providing. So, is working towards it now. But again, the question to be asked now is it going to be a too little too late deal? Probably not, but it will be a bit later than they wanted for sure. Nature's Prophet is, as usual, especially in the core role, going to be a key. We've seen several games in this tournament where Nature's Prophet is the reason why a team wins. This is where you'll see him doing more and more of the split, but it goes back to the Puck final pick. This is why Puck's a good counter against Nature's Prophet in the split push idea, is between the Illusory Orb and the Waning Rift, he can push out these lanes, and on top of the Veil debuff, he can push out these lanes pretty well. Veil of Discord, we see him use it right there. When he uses it on something, 18% increased magic damage from spells when enemies are hit by it. Puck also has Boots of Travel, so now Puck can teleport to any creep or hero on the map, or I think it's just creeps, actually. But either way, she can teleport to any creep on the map, and then on top of that, is now a 40-second cooldown instead of 60 seconds, and it doesn't consume the TP scroll, so very good mobility tool on Puck. And also has the Alien Disc, which you saw earlier in the game, and why that's so critical is what it does when Puck drops below 70% life, it'll put this massive status resistance shield, and it also makes him take 0 damage in the meantime. So it's a great tool for if he happens to get caught by, say, that Orchid by Nature's Prophet earlier on. That will proc and allow Puck to still survive in the fight. Our outposts only for teleportation. They are also for vision. They do get vision as well. The experience, yeah, honestly, I'm not sure on the experience. I know that they've been changed a lot over time, ever since they've been introduced. So I'm actually not even sure about the experience benefit. But I do think, yeah, or I do know that they get vision and they teleport place at the very least. I don't think they give the experience anymore. I might just be saying that, though.
A tithe to the impurities.
Dire's bottom tower
So we
is
see
under
some
attack.
tier 3 neutral items starting to drop. Again, that means we've hit that mark of 27 minutes into the game, I think it is. Yeah, where once they start killing neutral creeps after that, you can see what's tier 3 items start dropping. Again, these neutral items, every tier has a random chance on a neutral kill to drop up to 5 neutral items. Each tier, they're going to be more and more powerful. As far as what they do, at least that's the idea on paper.
Dire's bottom tower
Puck,
is under
Aeon
attack.
Disc, yeah. That Aeon Disc, I was going to say, they're going to jump in, but with Aeon Disc, you can't really do much against that. So, the good thing is, now, even though they didn't get a kill there, they did get the Aeon Disc activated, and it's a 145-second cooldown,
Radiant's top tower is under
as you
attack.
see here. So,
Silence.
it's still a good use of it.
Dire's
Oh, that's still a good initiation, but, you know, a little unfortunate for them. That's a dead interest profit, by the way. Wow, that skewer was so deep. This Magnus collapses MVP for sure. He is just skewering left and right. And the build, too, again, going that mech, knowing that fights, or at least that's what they want to do, these fights earlier on. Roshan's 40 more seconds before it could spawn. So, again, going back to Roshan on the timer, after 8 minutes after the Roshan death, he can potentially spawn. It's anywhere between 8 and 11 minutes, I think, in terms of when he's going to resurrect from his previous death. So, you never know. As an enemy, you don't have this timer that we have as a spectator. So, we know it's going to pop up in 20 seconds. They don't know that. So starting at 8 minutes, you'll see teams constantly checking the Roshan pit
Interesting.
to see if Roshan is up. And if Spirit wants to do Roshan, it will be up shortly here. We see a smoke coming out from LGD. Gonna wear off, though. Yes, the Aeon Disc, I noticed that too. So the Aeon Disc, the cooldown, it actually gets longer and longer the more it's activated, up to 165 seconds. So it starts at 105, but then 125, and now it's 145, and then goes all the way up to 165. Grove Bow, by the way, is actually really good. Probably one of the better neutral items that Luna could have, is because if that's even more attack range. You see, that's another 100 attack range that Luna's getting on top of the Dragon Lance. That she's getting 140 from, I believe. Yeah, 140. So she's getting 240 extra attack range now because of that Grove Bow and the Dragon Lance. And it's decent synergy with her the passive that reduces magic resistance, so the attack enemy by 50%. Like, that's, you know, her beam is the magic damage there. So they're gonna, can they trade neutral items? Yes. Between your team, you can give and take neutral items as you please. You can port into the shop. You can, so she could use this Grove Bow, and then if she gets one later on, she can give this Grove Bow to somebody else, like the Puck or something.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So they're going to do Roshan for free. LGD, they might be curious or aware even that they're doing Roshan, but they just don't feel confident stopping it. The Magnus presence is too strong. The Daedalus is going to be finished on Luna now. That's an upgraded crit stick, or chrysalis basically, where it's a lot more damage. She also finds a Paladin sword right there, which is another very good tool on here. It gives her both lifesteal and spell lifesteal, so she's going to be healing up a lot more. And it amplifies whereas regeneration, healing, and lifesteal and spell lifesteal by 40%. Wow. Oh, by the way, another skewer. Io's dead. Now, Io has a buyback. If this fight progresses, I'm sure we're going to see the Io buyback. But they don't force too much because, again, with the Aegis, LGD doesn't want to take these fights right now. LGD is purely, they're in a spot where they have to just play rat Dota. They have to play very defensive. They need to smoke and try to set up kills. Speaking of that, Spirit is going to smoke themselves. Again, they're invisible on the map until they get close to an enemy. Then they will become exposed, but this allows you to sneak up and Morphling. Uh-oh, they catch Morphling! There's the horn! There's the skewer! And he's just dead! Oh my god, he dropped fast. But you see right here, that's something else about Morphling. what makes him such a great hero potentially is he has his attribute shift ability. He can go massive agility or massive strength depending on what the situation calls for. The more agility he has, the more armor, the more damage he does, etc. The more strength he has, the much more beefier he is, the more health he has. Right there, because he was just farming, he was nearly full agility, not expecting to get jumped. By the time he got jumped, he couldn't respond, and thus he died quickly. Skewer killing Earthshaker. Morphling is staying dead, by the way. This is at least going to be, and we're going to see this. Watch this tower go down. Watch the base fall. There's the tower, and here goes the base. The bounces are happening. Both of the racks are going to fall right here. And Luna's going to fall back with the team. Now, look at the top laner and all this. Nature's Prophet doing what he does best. They cannot stop him. The silence. Good job by NP. Nature's Prophet, he is the win condition for LGD right now. If Nature's Prophet can keep this split push pressure going, maybe they have a shot. Is the Magnus combo skill shot or point and click? The skill shot, which skill shot are we talking about? Because Skewer is a skill shot in that sense. It is point and click. I guess it is point and click, so never mind. I guess I don't know what you mean by skill shot. If you're talking about Skewer, yeah. So it is kind of a skill shot where there's a slight channel up and then he runs forward in the direction that you click towards. So that's where it's kind of a skill shot, I guess. But, I mean, it is still point and click, right? Or you mean like point and click on the hero? Okay, no, yeah. You do have to click on the ground. So you do have to click in a direction, not necessarily just on a hero. But what makes it really effective is what we saw right there with the horn toss ability. As a result of the shard, is that what he'll do, he'll jump in, he'll use his horn toss, which any target in front of him, he'll just pick up and then stun behind him. He does that, and then he just skewers them that direction in a very easy setup. So that's what we saw him do right there against the Morphling. Is, by the way, Nature's Prophet. Oh, they saw him. He has a gem. Okay, gem of true sight. We'll talk about that in a second. Aeon Disc is going to be popped, but here comes Magnus. Magnus, he skewers him all the way over here. He's got that talent of a lot more skewer range now. 425 skewer range, so that skewer is doing work. But yeah, the Gem of True Sight. What does this item do? Well, it basically gives you true vision, which means you can see anything invisible around you. Alright, so now the Puck, because he's holding the gem, he can see wards that happen to be in the area. He can see invisible heroes. In this case, a Shadowblade Nature's Prophet, who thought he could get away. The Shadow Blade allows him to go invis and move a little bit faster, but the counter to that is the Gem of True Sight. The downside of a gem is if you die while holding a gem, it will drop on the ground and can be picked up by the enemy. So you got to be careful with who it's on and how you use it, but obviously a very powerful tool in some cases. So the shards and the axe, yeah, shards are the much newer mechanic added to Dota 2. Where a scepter, every hero now has both a scepter and a shards effect, an Aghanim scepter and Aghanim shard effect. Aghanim scepter, it's a bit more gold, it's 4,200 gold total. It's a lot more powerful of a contribution, usually to the hero. Aghanim shard, it's only 1,400 gold. It's just one item that you buy and consume, but it also does some are passive, some are gives them new abilities, you know, whatever. So it's a little bit more depth even to the game now that they've added, basically. Is this serious for 40 million? No, it's only for 25 million. Or excuse me, 23 million. The $40 million prize pool is the total tournament. The grand finals, there's $23 million on the line now. Because it's 18 million for first and 5 million for second. Big split. Yeah, only 23 million. Not a big deal. Luna's a beast. Luna's got her butterfly now. She's got the satanic. Like, this hero's, yeah. Similar to the Naga Siren last game. Like I was talking about, just how unkillable she feels and how much damage she's doing. That's where Luna's at right now as well. So it takes you back to the Morphling. I mean, Morphling, he finally got the axe. I'm guessing he has an Ice Scotty, but oh, the Courier's dead. So I wonder if on the Courier that's where the Ice Scotty is. But even though he's able to transform into the Earthshaker now, it still feels like that he's
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
every single fight has been Spirit jumping them, right? Like that's what it seems like has been the theme. As long as Spirit gets that Magnus initiation, they're setting up to win the fight because they get a free pick essentially on a one hero at least.
Is under attack.
So if LGD can maybe find the jump first with the Morphling, you know, killing one of those supports in the back, there they see the Magnus perhaps. Maybe that's our chance, but also this split pushing. You see the illusions, you see Nature's Prophet doing what he can. But this base, yeah, Luna's just gonna start killing the base again. It's another set of racks that's gonna go down. And meanwhile, the tower's dead around here, but Dark Willow fears him back. Gonna horn toss and skewer back Leshrac all the way to the Ancient. And that will be an easy kill in the end. Give me a second. Okay. Who do they kill? So they kill... Oh, they also got the Earthshaker right there.
Uproot and after them.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Yeah, split pushing versus... That's where it's... This isn't a... You're not going to outpush the Luna. True. But it actually gives you your only shot, I think. And if I'm not... No, you know what? The one game that I do remember, it was that Undying series, wasn't it? It was the Undying, whoever they were playing in that best out of one. But it was because, I think it was Aster? It was because of Lelis on Nature's Prophet. He outpushed and outmaneuvered the Luna on the other side. The Luna pushed him on the other side. And that's what allowed him to come back and win it. So, like, it's not necessarily something that you can totally rely on, but I do think LGD's at a spot, like, that's just what they... That's their only chance, right? Like that's their only chance to win this game now, is the split push of Nature's Prophet, and hope for the best. You have such a great voice. Thank you, Kaffa. This Luna's way more farmed. I do think that's true, Kaffa, or Kiki, excuse me. Yeah, I'm just trying to give maybe a little bit of hope to LGD, but trust me, I think this game, it's crazy to say, but I think Spirit is on their way to going up 2-0 over LGD here in the Grand Finals. Unbelievable, man. What a story this has been. But again, this is a best out of 5. So you need to win 3 games to win the whole series. This is not best out of 3 like all these series have been. But here we go. This might be a last chance dish effort for LGD. They're going to get the jump first, so that's already a good start. They kill Bane. Bane buys back. Luna, oh my god, just shreds Leshrac. But Leshrac will buy back as well. Meanwhile, the RP, it pulls up Morphling. The uphill attacks from Luna. There's the beam, and there's the kill. The 1240 crit. Morphling staying dead. Io's dead in the back. And that could all but do it. A triple kill for Yotaro, the man that's gotten multiple rampages here at TI10. He gets another triple kill here, one of many he's gotten. Collapse. He's going to be able to skirt on out of there. Puck, though, Puck is finally dead. On disc, on cooldown, but he bites back immediately. They catch Leshrac. Leshrac stopped right here. In place, straight away, eventually goes back in. Luna? Nope, Luna's fine, never mind. That was somebody else. That was Magnus getting low, but even the sleep's going to help save him in the end. As Leshrac manages to keep alive with the Isle support, but Nature's Prophet, not the same story. They're trying their best to lock Luna in a cage, but Luna doesn't want it in a cage. She's an animal, damn it. She wants out, and a skewer forward from Magnus. More buybacks, but it's just desperate efforts coming out for LGD. The Horn Toss, Earthshaker, he is pulled up. It's Nature's Prophet, and with this kill, they're gonna take game number 2. And to go up 2-0 against LGD here in the Grand Finals of TI10. Unbelievable what we are witnessing here at this event. I don't care that I got all that incorrect. I just still can't believe this. Team Spirit, and these aren't flukes. Like, these are just... Team Spirit is winning these games outright. They are playing as if they are the best team in the world right now and showing it. Unbelievable. 1 second.